Chào mừng Sua, Hey, working in Cambodia is not always easy, and I really appreciate Nathan for putting together this video of what was difficult for him. Hope you enjoy.
Hello, my name is Nathan. I've been doing some videos about what missionary life is really like. And I spent 10 years in Cambodia, mostly along the Ho Chi Minh Trail, right along the border with Vietnam. And this video is about digging a little bit more into what is hard. We'll do another one about what I love. So I've been looking through my journals and I saw at least three themes that I'm going to hit in this video. One is times that hit me again and again of just feeling like there's no fruit, times of loneliness, and something I'm going to call losing to the ants. So it came in different phases, but one of the first times I really felt like there's no fruit was in the process of language learning. So I felt like I was a decent student. But learning Khmer, after about a year, I could read and write some, but my speaking was really stuttered. It was just hard to listen to me, really. My wife, meanwhile, starting to develop a little bit of this beautiful Cambodian accent. People would always compare, like, you don't speak very well, but she speaks really well. We also had this peer named Yuko, who is from Japan, and she's brilliant, and she's so far ahead. And some days it just felt like not making any progress. Totally the story of the tortoise and the hare. In terms of ministry, a story that comes to mind is my investment, my first term with a house church leader named Bu Rua. Every Friday I would meet with him for about 2 hours, and we would go over the passage that he was going to teach on Sunday. And there was some times of brilliance. He was a very violent man. He was a Khmer soldier. He was known for being fierce in his village. I remember one time he was just clapping his hands and celebrating that God could forgive even someone like himself who had killed people. During my first home assignment, I got an email from my teammate that Bu Rua had fully walked back into Buddhism, even wearing the string again around his waist that Cambodians do to protect them from spirits. And I was so discouraged. I felt like, what was all that time about? I felt like all my efforts, like, was it really worth it? And a little bit like Peter, when he saw the wind and the waves, I started to sink, and I had to call him, Jesus, help me, and he pulled me out of that. And later, Bu did come back around. He's calling himself a believer now. He's still a very mixed bag, but I also see he's not who he was. He's calling on Jesus. And there are many times that sometimes you can be excited about talking to someone, what's going to happen with this, and other times where you feel like later, was that person really interested in Jesus, or were they just trying to get something out of me? And sometimes your efforts can feel like a drop of water on a hot stone. And I had to wrestle a little bit with my identity. Was it in some fruit, or is it in being God's beloved through Jesus Christ? The other area I mentioned was loneliness. And sometimes, we went to rural Cambodia because there wasn't access to the gospel. Also, when there's not a church there, and times when there were no teammates, it was very hard. Even having a family. And I realized that I probably needed some more support. Along with that, just being very honest with you, there's this revolving door in missions. So I had this expectation that people we came with are going to be like our best friends 20 years later. And a lot more people left than I thought. And for lots of reasons. Sometimes organizational fit, sometimes health reasons, education reasons, which is why we're here too, education reasons for our kids. And sometimes I would start to get a little bit of a closed heart to new people, like, are they really going to make it? How long they're going to be here? And God used 1 Thessalonians 2:8 to try to open up my heart more. And Paul talks about being so affectionately desirous of you, we were ready to share with you not only the gospel of God, but also our own selves, because you had become very dear to us. Paul also lived this nomadic missionary lifestyle, and his heart was open. And I can look and be like, thank you, Lord, that I had a chance to get close to some Christians from Argentina and Germany and Switzerland and the UK and Hong Kong and yeah, it was a blessing, even though it wasn't quite what I expected because of this revolving door and mission. The other area is what I'll call losing to the ants. And I'll just share one story. It's where things just build up, build up, build up, and it becomes very difficult. Well, we had moved out to Snool, rural Cambodia, and our teammates left for on their home assignment. And we started having all these power cuts. And our son was having difficulty sleeping anyway. And anytime the power went out, his fan would out, and he would wake up. It's very hot in Cambodia. Then it also seemed like all these Buddhist ceremonies were starting at 4:30 in the morning, and over the loudspeakers. And then I tried to go to bed tonight after a long day, and these red ants would kept on getting into our bed, and I'd be waking up with all these bites. And it's kind of like one thing after another. That's where we talk about losing to the ants. We went on a little vacation, came back, and pigeons had made a home in our home and made a complete mess of the kitchen and everywhere else. And on top of this, my wife got dengue, which can be rather dangerous. Sometimes you can be evacuated. It can be very painful, and you have to watch your hemoglobin. And so we went to Phnom Penh, just burned out. Like, we just couldn't keep up with all these things going on. And it was also what we needed. I can say God was faithful. The team prayed for us. Our team doctor would take Brianna's blood and take it to the lab to get tested, kind of evaluating how she was. And God did bring us through that. But there were some times where just things build up, and it seemed like more than you can take. I'm going to do another video about what I love, because there's still, it's worth it. So I hope you watch that as well.
Huge thanks to Nathan for compiling that video. If you want to hear more about Nathan's experience or would like to see him make more videos, please let me know in the comments below. Catch you next time. Peace.